assassinated all over the world. And the good news is that, ladies and gentlemen, despite the rough start with the draft not working out so well, we are into the match.
We are indeed, sir, and let's go over a few of the more important details. We're on the Cursed Hollow. It's a best of one. We are here in Qualifier Cup number 2, and on your blue side, it's going to be the team that, well, not maybe the exact team that went to BlizzCon, but they definitely represented with Team Fnatic. It was Kessel, it was Freds, Ace of Spades, Shinobu, and Lowell. Lowell, I think, no, I definitely met, I think, Lowell and Ace at BlizzCon. They're fantastic guys, but here they are, playing to their heart's content here in Enter the Storm Cup 1 Qualifier number 2.
Yep, and the gates are down. The game is underway. Looks like a little bit of a mid party here with 4 members of Protoss OP. And playing everyone on there is going to be Hydra on the ETC, Tony playing the Uther. What's going to call him Lol versus XD, or just Lol playing Tassadar. Vala being played by Acer Hollow. And up in the top lane is going to be Alistor on that Mizido Witch Doctor. Down in the bottom lane, it looks like a 3v3 party situation, so you both got to be careful. We're taking a lot of harassment damage. So we're definitely going to see a big push contention over here in the bottom lane. And there's definitely a big potential for one of these players to go down here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I like to call the party lane. Everybody is here in attendance for the party lane. Everybody wants to just have their jam and eat it too, and all that fun stuff. So in the top, it's going to be the specialist duel with the Zagara versus that Witch Doctor. The mid, it's going to be the tanks, the wet noodle fight. And it's all about how much damage can we get done this early game. So it does not look like we're going to be set up for any kind of roams. Not really too sure. The team comps kind of set themselves up for that, going back and forth. There's no Zeratos, there's no Illidan's, there's no stitches into stun combos. The best it could have been would have been a stitches into a Malfurion, I suppose. But even then, you're leaving Hammer and Tychus kind of to themselves, and they are a little more susceptible to ganks than some of their counterparts. Let's take a quick look at some of the talents as we just keep tabs on some of these other lanes. And Reconstitution coming out there for the Zagara. She's going to be an absolute lane boss already, just kind of winning the duels out there with Alistor. And armor-piercing rounds, everything looks pretty much okay on the side of Fnatic.
Yep. I've noticed that a lot of Tassadars have been picking up Psi Fusion at level 1, which is the mana return talent whenever you hit a target. So what that means by a target is not specifically heroes. It's minions as well. So if you hit a full wave, which is 7 minions plus a hero, that's 8 times 7. That's a good amount of mana being returned. So especially in the early game, that allows Tassadar's early game to sit in lane, spam those Psi Storms, and not worry about running out of gas too early. The big contention here down by the Ogre camp for Protoss OP. Protoss OP is going to get the Ogre camp. Obviously, Fnatic knows their timings, as they were there right as that was being camped. If they got there a little bit earlier, they could have made a contention for that. But Protoss OP is going to pick up that Ogre camp and put some pressure into that bottom lane.
And they're going to really hope for that top spawn, and there it is.
Oh, wow,
Their hopes are going to be answered and received. It's going to be a tribute up there at the 3-minute mark, and now Fnatic, they got to either clear this out as quick as they can, go up, or they just got to give up that tribute. And so far, nobody's actually going to be looking to make their way up there. Shinobu is going to be, he's going to be a big target into the bottom lane, already down to the half hit points, and now we see a little bit more transitioning going on up there. Kessel's going to do his best here, but I don't think Alistor is going to allow him. Now, here comes the spiders, so that's just going to chase the car around a little bit. And the transitions are going to be on the side of Protoss. They are definitely going to get there first, but it looks like Fnatic's actually not going to willingly give up this first tribute.
Yeah, this is a long tribute. We're at the 3.5-minute mark, and it still hasn't been taken. Both of these teams are really close to level 7. That's a huge power spike for everyone involved. A good hook onto ETC. Does he have power slide? He has Face Melt, and his Uther backing him up, so he's going to be able to get away. Level 7 is a big deal for Uther. That allows him to get cleansed. That's going to allow their frontliner ETC to get a little more aggressive in these team fights, look for a power slide, Face Melt, knock someone out of position, and potentially get the kill. And there is level 7 for both teams. And we're seeing the big heal build coming out of Malfurion. So we look less on Illumin's Grace and those tenacious roots. Less of an aggressive build, more of it, again, it's the theme for this game right so far for them has been sit in the back line, do damage.
Ooh, Acer there. Well, Hollow, I should say. Definitely looked a little bit more caught out. Finally, we got some roots coming out as well, but it's not going to be able to hit that Vala. Only hits the Uther, and I think that Protoss is going to have to give this one up. Between the overkill, between those hooks, they've just landed too many of them, has worn them down. And ETC had actually transferred out to the mid lane as well, looking to just do enough soak to bring us back to parity. So first tribute in the bag, but there's no real experience advantage going either way. So the race to 10 is still fully on, and by the time we see our next tribute, both teams should have their heroics ready to go.
And that'll be very pivotal as to if it's near one of the team's boss or not, because generally in that situation, if there is a strong team fight going one way or the other of a team, then they just fall back to that boss. So if it's down in the bottom part of the map, kind of right here just north of the mid lane, or north part of the map where it's in this really tight crevasse down here just south of the, and it's, oh, okay, so it's not going to be either of those. It is going to be in the bottom lane, but it's not going to be quite as in close proximity to Fnatic's boss as it could be. And level 10 is almost here for both teams. Fnatic with a very small advantage going into this. So if they do go for this, they're going to have a very small window of opportunity to take advantage of their heroics, but not a very big one, as Protoss OP is right on the back. A good hook on a Tony. Wow. Oh no, Tony has been caught out. And also Malfurion, actually. Looks like they were getting a little cocky there with the hook. They're like, we're Malfurion in stitches. I'm going to hook someone into this crevasse. There's nothing you can do about it except kill my healer. So now, even though Fnatic has level 10, they had to give up that tribute because of that misplay right there.
Yeah, it was a wow. Actually, top. I just caught the end of Devouring Maw that missed on top of Alistar. Kessel was really going for the kill on top of that one. But level 10 has come out, as you did say, and that was a really good hook. I mean, that did not look good for Tony. The problem is there was no follow-up, and there's 4 teammates there from Protoss OP, ready to capitalize on the lone Malfurion, because of Malfurion without peel, there's no DPS in the back of any of that at all. It was not going to be near enough, and as we saw, the first kill on the board, just as that first tribute went, or second tribute went in for Protoss OP. I mean, yeah, a little bit of a late kill, but 6 minutes in, we said, yeah, a little bit more, quote, boring early game. It's just a little bit more careful these days.
And there is the laser coming out of the Tychus, as well as the melting point. So again, the emphasis is on just stay in the back lane, push, push, and push. Force team fights they don't want to take, and bottom lane, a great initiation on Shinobu. That's exactly what Protoss OP needed to do to get this mid game going their way. It was a beautiful zombie wall set up by Alistar on that Witch Doctor, who caught Shinobu on this Sergeant Hammer completely out of position, followed up by a Divine Storm immediately on top of a Rain of Vengeance with a Ravenous Spirit tearing him apart. And they get the kill on a Sergeant Hammer, which is just a linchpin hero for the side of Fnatic, and knowing that Sergeant Hammer is down, this is going to enable Protoss OP to pick up the enemy's boss. Nope, down goes the laser. We're going to see a team right here and a big contention over the boss. Tony is out of position. Here is the initiation from Stage Dive, but Tony is going to go down. He's going to be alive for a little bit longer. A 1-for-1 exchange, definitely favoring the Uther because he's in the fight. He can heal, he can stun. So a 2-for-1 exchange. Level 13 is here for Protoss. They got the enemy boss. It's looking good for them so far.
Yeah, I mean, they knew that there was a stage dive on the ETC, and that boss was going down. Kessel was actually very sneaky into the top, was able to pick up the tribute during all that, but I mean, the stage dive in, it was a clear numbers advantage. Protoss OP got to be very happy with that engage, because not only did they get 2 more kills on the back of it, now we're starting to see a little bit more staggered in terms of those. Ooh, Alistar, he's all right. A little bit more staggered death timers. That's allowing us to put a lot of pressure on the map here from Protoss. I mean, bottom lane got themselves that fort with that boss. They have maybe not 2 tributes today, but now they are going to get the second boss. We're going to be looking at that 4th tribute, which they should be able to put in their pocket. And they now have that big experience lead as well. So they're looking actually really phenomenal here, transitioning in, looking for a curse.
Yeah, Fnatic did not take that stage dive into account. And that is really what won in that team fight. If ETC didn't show up to that team fight, Fnatic would have got several kills, definitely would have secured their own boss from taking out Tony. So well done by them. Meanwhile, Nazeebo actually gets caught out. I believe that was in the bottom lane.
Yep.
So he was by himself. Yeah, that was the 4 people hanging out in the bottom lane right as the curse spawns. So Fnatic is in a position to get this curse. With this tribute will enable them to get this curse. Also get these siege ogres, and look, they're going for these tier 2 towers. Melting point doing so much damage to these buildings, and exchanging tier 2 towers for a curse for a fort at this stage of the game is definitely favoring Fnatic. They'll take that exchange any day of the week.
Well, so much for that early game capitalization. Double bosses, and Fnatic still gets the curse with that positioning. I mean, Kessel's still going to be up here. They're going to make sure that this boss doesn't do anything else. But, I mean, Protoss, they lost their gate during that. And just that one kill enabled so much. They're going to look for this return on top of Shinobu. But Shinobu, with that first aid, healing ward going down there as well, survived a little bit longer than perhaps Protoss intended. Definitely looked a little bit more caught off guard by the end of that all. And stage dive coming in, it does force out the green carpet, the putrid bile, but it's not going to be any more kills. And now it's up to Protoss OP to defend their remaining 2 forts, which are for the duration of this curse, whereas Fnatic's just going to go continue painting this map blue.
Very well done by them. Them getting those tier 2 towers and picking up that tribute in the bottom lane, recognizing that Protoss OP was making that push top, just put them in a equal situation right here. Before, they were down a significant amount, and now both these teams are going to hit level 16 at almost around the exact same time. So just a smart game sense. They outmaneuvered them for that one period of time, and that enabled them to get themselves in the situation that they're in. Level 16 is here for Protoss OP. It looks like we're seeing standard stuff coming out. Tassadar is doing a little bit of a hybrid build here. He's not going full race car, he's not going full damage. Level 13 picking up the free science, and then level 16 picking up the second strike. So now he has 2 psionic storms. So it's he's got some survivability, he's got some increased damage. He doesn't have the utility of that shrink ray, and I don't feel like shrink ray would really bring much to the table, as Fnatic isn't really looking to initiate very hard other than just catching someone out of position with the hook.
Yeah, the lack of a shrink ray is okay in this regard because there's no big target. There's no one hero that they really need to get rid of in this regard. I mean, they got a very strong backline with Fnatic, and well, you're about to find out the power of that backline as they come in. They're looking for this kill on top of the battle cow, and that's going to be a hook. In fact, the hook actually brings Hydro out of the roots. That was a little bit more of a misplay, but now here comes the collapse from the rest of Protoss. Everybody is so far forward. Alistar there getting off a pretty decent Ravenous, but he gets eaten up by that Devouring Maw. Hydra's now going to come back in. They're looking for the kill on top of Ace, who has that tranquility popping. There is no kills as of yet. The zombie wall on top of Shinobu is not enough to bring him down. And so much focus going back, but the hook is going to be it for Vala. She's not going to live through that one. And the laser, plus the overkill here, the overkill from Lowell should be enough to bring us into a position for one more hook. Can Freds actually grab it with that fishing hook of his? He's not. But it was still finally a kill for Fnatic, and they're going to get themselves a top fort on the back of that as well.
That Maw coming out of Kessel's Zagara is what won them that team fight, is now going to enable them to push down and further gain map control. On Crystal, another great hook, and Alistar, good luck. You hit level 16, you get that fishing hook, and you are going to be full tonight because you're going to be catching out a lot of big fish. That's exactly what Fred on that stage has been doing. Great hooks. The last 3 hooks have landed on Heroes. So well done by him. But yeah, that Devouring Maw caught out the Witch Doctor, interrupted the Ravenous Spirit that surely would have killed at least 1 or 2 people in that team fight, because on the side of Fnatic, everyone was so very low going down, but that's Malfurion's strength. He's not a big burst healer. His burst healing is very weak, but if you can make those team fights, you can elongate those team fights, make them go on, then you will just basically win the war of attrition. You will out-heal all the big initiation on the side of Protoss OP, and that's exactly what happened. That enabled them to get themselves the boss down here in the bottom lane, though Protoss OP knows about it and looks like they're trying to flank into a situation to catch him off guard here.
Well, I'm not too sure that's the right term at all. I mean, there was no contest at that boss, and nobody's going for the tribute. I mean, it's not going to be a cursed tribute, so obviously the importance of it is very much diminished. But Protoss OP, I mean, they weren't on the map. They weren't in position to either capitalize on the tribute. They weren't able to contest the boss. They might be a little bit more down in terms of experience. I think it might be actually more down in terms of like just the morale. I mean, they had such a good pincer maneuver on that last fight, but now they're very much getting dictated about where they need to go. You can see, you know, they came down here. They started wearing away at this boss. They're going to leave the ETC down here, but now do they want to come contest the second boss? Because they're way too late to the party, even using the stage dive. As their global, I mean, they're just not getting things done, and now they're down 2 bosses. Well, all right, they avoided out that Maw, but still, they're looking very much on the back foot now.
With that Maw being baited out there, that actually really has been able to Witch Doctor not worry about getting caught in the position, because that seems to be its main use of these team fights. Ace Republic, he's got to be careful though. Hydra's going in. back up his buddy Vala. Watch, there's the future Bile. They are really doing a lot of work on this ETC. He's going to narrowly escape a stun from the boss. And here it is, that kind of slow siege I was talking about. They're allowing the Sergeant Hammer and the Scar to sit in the back lines. Meanwhile, Stitches is standing, holding their hands, trying to line up a good hook, and it's all just, this is a patient strategy coming out from Fnatic. We're slowly going to push down your buildings, and if we catch anyone in position, that's great with the hook. If we don't, you know what? We still got tier 2 towers. We still have an experience lead. We're still in a really good position.
Double bosses and tribute. Might not have been any kills, but you know, Fnatic definitely showing their power here in this mid game. And unfortunately, they're in the wrong quadrant of the map here. They are showing themselves in that watchtower just before it was taken. We got pings now down on this half hit point keep into the bottom lane. I was curious to see if Fnatic was actually going to go for it, but look at this. The entire team of Protoss OP coming down here expecting that bottom lane rush.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're just going to come out empty-handed because Fnatic is just not there. They're going for this tribute. Now they got to buy a little bit of time because here comes the battle count. They're going to catch Castle off in the back. She did not have that maul ready to go. The Ravenous is now going to be free and clear to land as much as it can on top of Lul. And Alistar, I mean, sure, he got hooked there at the end of it all, but this is not looking good for Shinobu on the back of all that.
Oh, yeah, his boost is on cooldown. ETC played well there to knock him out of it. And so that's going to be a good 2-0 exchange going their way. That's really going to even the odds a little bit. They're still down on experience, but they have a big power play coming out here. As far as what can they do with this power play, not that much. Fnatic recognized, oh, hey, we're going to lose some players here. Let's just, you know, forfeit them, get ourselves on the map, get our bruiser camp. And here is a tribute. So this is an okay opportunity for Protoss OP. It's not going to grant them a curse. It's not going to grant them a boss, but at least it's going to give them a moment to even up the ante on experience, get themselves the second tribute of the match, and definitely push down some forts and towers to hit that level 20 as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can, I mean, next tribute's a curse. That is 100% confirmed. 2-2 each. Next tribute is going to be massive because we're at 16 minutes into this game, Shane. There's not going to be any bosses up in the next minute and a half. So actually, you know what? We might actually see a tribute and then the bottom boss, and then maybe a top, but it's going to be close. It's really going to be cutting it close. Both teams are going for as many mercs as they can. If they can get that next tribute, the mercs are going to be doing so much damage, and even if they don't, the mercs are going to be the only things really keeping the enemy waves at bay, since their own teammate minion waves will be kind of, you know, 1 hit points and all that. But some really big waves being cultivated, both top and bottom, level 19 each. Still slightly ahead here for Fnatic as they're going in, looking for that race to 20. But it's either way. I mean, at this point, Fnatic tried to do some really fancy mind games in the end there, but they really did pay for it. They lost the tribute, they lost 2 kills. They lost a little bit more of their momentum, but they're still very much on track here for that 20, and it's going to be up to Protoss OP to bridge that gap.
And a good way of doing that is getting themselves some forts. Good rotations from both of these teams as they went, Fnatic went bottom lane to clear the lane. Oh, Tassadar. Yeah. Ooh, man. If that was any other hero, that would have been a dead nerd right there. ETC with initiation. On to Fred. Fred, you get out of there with the future bile. He is. He's getting cooled up. Tony's going in there for Divine Storm. There's Divine Storm on to 2. Shinobu and Lowell. That's a big deal, but the follow-up isn't there. And a great counter initiation coming out from the Scarf, getting the Archon and the Vala right there. Level 20s here for Fnatic with those kills. Tassadar, he does have his 3 silence up, but if he gets taken out, he might be going down here. He does. A 3-for-0 exchange going the way of Fnatic. This is going to be a curse. This is level 20. This is a boss, and this is Fnatic's game to take.
This is almost guaranteed now Fnatic's game as well, because a boss marching down during a curse on a lane with a half hit point keep that's going to be pushed in. I mean, you're almost sealing the deal at this point. It's going to take a lot of grits and some really good play coming out from Protoss OP. But so, I mean, I got a feel for them. I mean, they're doing so good back and forth all game. It's 7 kills to 7, Shane, and this spawn with that tribute could not have been better for Fnatic. Yeah. It funneled them all into tight corners. The maw was massive. The laser drill doing big work. They had to go through the green carpet of the putrid bile from Stitches. It was like the match made in heaven right there. They're not even going to wait for the boss. In they go. In goes Fnatic. The keep is already gone. That's going to be the tower, and this is going to be a full hit point, 18-minute boss with a very powerful team on the back of it all, and looking to end this game with a graduating range Shinobu. He's going to be sieging up from the far, and he has the advanced lava strike as well. So damage, damage, damage. This could be it right here.
That's the strength of that draft, man. They're basically using the Golem as the 6th member on their team, taking up the court. They're having to use a Ravenous Spirit on top of the boss, so this is desperation measures coming out of Protoss OP. There's that Davari mod taking the Ravenous Spirit out of the game, but resistance is futile, ladies and gentlemen, as Fnatic takes the game against Protoss. First match of the day. We're into the Storm qualifier number 2. Congratulations to Fnatic. Protoss